Android smartphone manufacturers looking to make the jump to 64-bit mobile computing have a number of choices. Many of them have existing relationships with Qualcomm, so the obvious choices use the Snapdragon 810 processor. When the chipset first debuted at the start of the year, it had a problematic reception at best. How has Sony dealt with the problem in its latest handsets? Reports around overheating on some of the first handsets to use the chipset were magnified online. Although initial review units with the Snapdragon 810 chipset did run hot, including the One M9 when it was reviewed here on Forbes, steps were taken by manufacturers and partners involved to design this issue away. Qualcomm's VP of Marketing Tim McDonough told Forbes, "There was not an overheating problem with the Snapdragon 810 in commercial devices. Nevertheless, with some manufacturers delaying manufacturing of Snapdragon-powered units, OnePlus, or switching away to use its own processors, Samsung, the public recognition around the Snapdragon 810 is not a positive one. Computer chips generate heat, that's a given. Smartphones have always had to deal with getting the heat away from the chips and radiate it out of the case without feeling uncomfortable in a user's hand. The idea of a smartphone that will overheat is a problem that is easily understandable by the general public. Which is where Sony comes in. As the new Xperia Z5 handsets were announced and the use of the 810 confirmed, one commenter on Forbes noted that "I believe this is the revised version that won't overheat. Hopefully with the Z5 Premium having a 4K screen, the overheating issue doesn't return this time around." A teardown of the Xperia Z5 Premium this weekend on social network Weibo, via 9 to 5 Google, shows how Sony has addressed the issue. Rather than follow Samsung's route in looking for an alternative solution, the Japanese company has worked on the internal design to allow the 810 to reach its full potential. Sony has increased the amount of copper used to pipe the heat away from the Snapdragon in both the Xperia Z5 and Xperia Z5 Premium. Given the computational power needed to record in 4K video, a key feature of the Z5 handsets, the Snapdragon 810 processor would be under heavy strain for anything more than very short clips. While discussions and statements about improvements in the chip design are accurate, something as simple as "there's twice as much copper to take the heat away" is worth far more to a sales assistant promoting the handset. The issues around the Snapdragon 810 processor are tied up in Android's rush to 64-bit computing over the last few years, and for that you can thank Apple. The marketing machine around Android has always focused on being the biggest and best in terms of numerical performance, a tradition Sony is continuing with a 4K resolution screen on the Xperia Z5 Premium. When Apple went to 64-bit with the A7 chip in the iPhone 5S, the Android ecosystem had little choice but to rush out a 64-bit solution or be seen to be left behind. Only now can the impact from that rush to production be mitigated.